Judge Eleanor Graves looked down at the black man, standing in chains before her with pure disgust. "You've wasted enough of this court's time," she snapped coldly. The courtroom sat completely silent. Marcus Hayes stood calmly in an orange prison uniform, his hands cuffed in front of him while reporters quietly watched from the back rows. For weeks, local news stations had called him a violent criminal accused of armed robbery and conspiracy. But Marcus never stopped insisting he was innocent. Judge Graves clearly didn't care. "You people always claim the system is against you," she muttered sarcastically while flipping through the case file. Marcus slowly lifted his eyes. "Because sometimes it is." The judge smirked, then leaned forward aggressively. "You should be grateful this court is even giving you a hearing." Marcus's attorney tried speaking. "Your Honor, there are still inconsistencies in the evidence." "Enough," Graves interrupted sharply. She slammed the folder shut dramatically. "This defendant is clearly guilty." Several jurors exchanged uncomfortable looks. Even the prosecutor seemed nervous, because despite the accusations, nobody had actually found stolen money. No fingerprints matched, and the only witness changed his story twice. But Judge Graves ignored all of it. Instead, she stared directly at Marcus. "You thought you were smarter than law enforcement," she sneered. "Now you'll spend years learning otherwise." Marcus stayed calm. That only irritated her more. The judge raised her gavel. "This court sentences Marcus Hayes to 15 years in federal prison." Gasps spread quietly through the room. Marcus's attorney looked horrified. A woman in the audience began crying softly, but Marcus didn't react at all. He simply asked one question. "Are you finished?" Judge Graves frowned. "What?" Marcus slowly reached into his pocket. The courtroom instantly tensed. Two bailiffs stepped forward, but Marcus calmly removed a black leather wallet and opened it. Inside was a badge. FBI. The entire courtroom froze. Judge Graves stared at it in confusion. Marcus looked directly at her. "My real name," he said quietly, "is Special Agent Marcus Hayes." Silence. Complete silence. The judge's face lost all color. Several reporters immediately stood up. Marcus continued calmly. "For the last 11 months, I've been working undercover on a federal corruption investigation involving illegal evidence tampering inside this courthouse." Nobody moved. Nobody even breathed. Judge Graves slowly stood from the bench. "This is some kind of trick." "No," Marcus interrupted calmly. Then he placed several documents onto the table. Bank records, private emails, witness payment receipts, and surveillance photos. Every file connected members of the court directly to criminal activity, including the judge herself. The prosecutor stared in shock. Marcus looked directly at Judge Graves. "You pushed for convictions without evidence," he said quietly, "because innocent people made your numbers look good." The room erupted into whispers. Judge Graves' hands trembled now. Marcus calmly removed another folder. Inside were recordings of private conversations between the judge and local prosecutors. Discussions about hiding evidence, manipulating juries, targeting specific defendants. The courtroom became chaos. Then suddenly, the back doors opened. Federal agents entered immediately, armed, focused. One senior agent walked toward the bench. "Judge Eleanor Graves," he announced firmly, "you are under federal investigation for conspiracy, abuse of office, and obstruction of justice." The courtroom exploded. Reporters rushed toward the aisle. People shouted in disbelief. And the same judge who mocked Marcus moments earlier now looked completely terrified. Marcus slowly removed the prison cuffs from his wrists, because they had never been real. The entire courtroom watched silently as he stood tall in front of the bench, then delivered one final sentence. "You sentenced innocent people for years," he said quietly. "Today, the system finally judged you back."